Hey everybody, welcome back to Undermine here on our lovely Patron server, which is in its final days. So, today I was gonna work on the potions side of Ravinetown, because I worked out a nice little, system for it. You can just hear that there is a zombie pigman around here. And it's not Wilfred Pigley, believe it or not. It is this little guy down here. Because I realized I needed, more blaze rods in order to make everything. And, by the way, I finally fixed up Schnoz's command blocks, so now I have perma speed until I die. Which is actually just an extremely long effect, so it's not technically perma, but for, standard, playthrough kind of aspects it is. So yeah, there's this guy, and he is the last of somewhere in the vicinity of 200 zombie pigmen that swarmed the portal points in the overworld and in the nether, from the main portal at the end of the southern district up there. And basically, what happened was, I do have a couple of screenshots of this, unfortunately I wasn't recording. I go through the portal, and I find that immediately I can't see, because there is somewhere in the region of 120 odd, 130 odd zombie pigmen just swarming the little stronghold that we have in there. So then, I /kill all zombie pigmen within about 32 blocks. And that nets me over 2 stacks of the golden nuggets. Now, golden nuggets drop between 0 and 1 from zombie pigmen. So that means that quite probably the number of zombie pigmen is much higher than the number of golden nuggets I had. So that's terrifying, first and foremost. But then I go over to the Nether Fortress, and I get the blaze rods, and I come back through the portal, and there's 30 more waiting for me when I come back. So I realized what must have happened is that I loaded into the Nether. They were suddenly able to move, and by the way, they were already lagging, to heck. They were just moving in groups and bunches in spurts. But yeah, they take the opportunity whilst they're loaded to move, and to go back through the portal. So, consequently, they left the Nether, and were therefore no longer within 32 blocks of me when I used that command to kill them. Now that's kind of weird in and of itself. But oh no, it gets weirder in fact. Because what happened next was I tried to /kill in a much more sedate kind of range, because we actually have a few friendly zombie pickles around here. I tried to /kill again to get rid of the ones in the overworld, and I kill one of them, and I get a bunch of messages that just say, only that entity cannot be found. And that means that entity kind of doesn't exist. So I relog. Nope, they're still there. And I'm getting more and more confused. I'm trying to figure out what is going on, and I just honestly have no idea. So I do a /test4, and I only detect 2 zombie pigmen. Bearing in mind, there is about 30 around me, so I'm now tremendously confused. And I have no earthly explanation for what is going on. So I then have to kill them pretty much the old-fashioned way, and now we have one that's just sort of chilling out over here. Talk about a weird evening. Jeez. But anyways, as you can see, I am setting up for potions, because there is a potion shop, an enchanting shop, a blacksmith, and all sorts in Ravinetown, and this is our next little project. Now, in Crater City, way back when, I made a big honking machine called the One-Stop Potion Shop, which allowed you to brew basically any potion that you wanted, and it would work perfectly. Now, the problem with that was it was built for mass manufacture of potions, and it was built for sort of automated timing to spit them out and all sorts. And That's great if you just want to make a whole freaking ton of one or maybe two types of potion. And it's great if you just want to, like, create a space where your horse can roam through and get, like, a speed buff. That's not really what this one is for. This one is meant more for utility batches, so maybe 3 potions, maybe a few more depending on how you want. And it's meant to be more on the kind of, like, hands-on kind of style. So, what we are instead going to be using is a different system, and how much does this have left on it? Geez, 46. So let me just grab this as our little demonstrator. So, the way this works is it's going to take advantage of the fact that, basically, hoppers have a sequence of operation. They go from left to right, no matter what is in those slots. They always try to go from there, and if something can't, like, be shoved into an object, it skips it. And we can use that, more or less, initially, as our, like, brewing timer. It also means that we can pretty much use the hopper itself as a marker for how far into a brewing process we are. So with that in mind, if I just get this, and I kind of wish I had some slabs on me, but we'll have to deal for the moment. It's fine. Whoop, and like that. Okay. I have no redstone on me, so we're going to have to imagine slightly for the moment. So if I just go and grab some... Thankfully, between the speed buff from Snoz and this logical flower, I am super speedy. Like, almost ludicrously speedy. Oh. That's my jam. I'm not gonna waste my jam. Okay. Yeah, that'll do. That'll more than do. Okay, so yeah, I designed this, like, in the span of an hour or two, just this afternoon, just because I wanted to make my own system. I always like doing that. Okay. So, that's plenty. Right, if we get that to there, and let's just stick something in here that this can't use. How about one of the golden swords I grabbed? Okay, so now we can use that to indicate which of these, like, are actually in use. So in the specific example here, I'm going to be putting a piston down here. So let's grab one. I made them all ahead of time. Oop, there we go. And then I'll have a block on top. Let's go with just cobble for the moment. The sound of lava worries me slightly here, but I'm sure that we'll be fine and nothing terrible could possibly happen. Okay, so we want one there, we want one there, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper in here. Oh, I bet I'm hearing the storage room. I bet that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so just shift that over to there, and comparators. I made a backlog stock because I knew I'd be needing them today. Right. Stick that in there. So that gets us that signal. And if I then go one step further, put that there and that there, then we can now lift that up by having stuff in there. And as items descend out, because the brewing stand can only hold one item there at a time, eventually that will recede, and we'll know that that particular brewing stand isn't actually cooking anything up at the moment. Now, problem. As soon as we put stuff in here, it's going to start descending. So the way that we need to fix that is we have basically a button, and we push that button when we want everything to start brewing, so that we know that it can all finish at about the same time, like just while we wander off. And that then allows us to have an indicator light that tells us when everything is done. And basically to do that, we hook on, let me just squeeze through here, please. We hook on to this signal here, and when all of these finally turn off, we enable a timer to count down, which we will start to go off when we push the button. And then when it counts down, it will shut down all of these hoppers and turn on some lights so that we know everything is done brewing. Phew. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm going to hop into time-lapse mode before I run out of time this episode, because I've still got some space to dig out to do this, and I'll show you it all when it's done. So, with that in mind, see you in a moment. Right, folks, hope you all enjoyed watching that. So, here we have our completed 9 brewing stand potion engine. So this will allow you to fill up basically your entire inventory, save your hotbar with potions, if you should so wish. And over here, we have the slightly noisy, but I don't know, it's a nice noise at least, sort of periodic table of components. So behind each of these buttons is a different dispenser that I can go behind there and fill with ingredients, and you push a button, it will spit one out onto this, what's it called again? Packed ice, and that will flow directly over to here. It will illuminate by hitting one of these buttons. So that will then allow you to speedily get whatever ingredients you need to then turn around and reach all of the different hoppers with minimal movement. Very user-friendly in that regard. Now, what I did not describe in the course of the description before I did the time-lapse, had to buy myself a new quick pick. I'd completely forgotten what it was that Cantankerous sold them for, so glad I had enough. Okay, so yeah, here's the part that we all saw before, and yes, I'm slightly breaking my cardinal rule here of never using quartz as building materials, but you know, it's getting to the end of the world, so I guess this is like the best time for it anyways. I'm not entirely sold on the lapis, but I have plenty of lapis. So yeah, we get the signal from here, it goes through there, comes down here, goes into there, goes into the pistons, and also comes along here. Is there any way I can get up here? I don't actually know offhand, and I'll have to use some cobble. Okay. It's fine. Parkour. Okay. If you haven't done redstone parkour at some point in your YouTube career, I guess you're doing something wrong. So we take the signal, we amplify it so that it makes it all the way down to here, no matter where in the line it comes from, and then it goes up to stop this timer from running. It also comes down to prevent us from pushing the button. So basically the button only does anything if indeed there's at least one brewing stand set up to actually brew, which keeps the timer nice and steady. Very good. And basically every time we hit the button, when we hit the button, if one of the brewing stands is set up to actually run, the power comes around, goes through, hits this torch, which is currently preventing this hopper from transferring, which is keeping the timer stopped in that one state, and thereby preventing all of the hoppers from working. Now, the hopper is currently set for 50 blocks, or 50 item transfers, and when it finally cycles back around, provided that all of these have actually nothing in the hoppers, which would say that they're either finished or they're on their last item, that 50 items is about the time it takes for a brewing stand to go through a single brew item, then it will hop around, the lights will come back on, the hoppers will stop, everything, and you'll be able to know at a glance if all of the brewing is done. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be 100% absolutely unbelievably accurate, precise, but it is fairly close. So that is sort of the way, if the one stop was the poor man's potion station, then this is the wise man's, because you actually have to know what you're doing, but it then it keeps track of the timing for you, so you don't need to worry about it anymore. But other than that, I sort of decked this place out as a sort of desert temple style library. It looks quite nice. I figured I would finally put the sandstone that we have large volumes of, because half of spawn is in a desert biome. I'd finally put the sandstone to work, so it looks nice. The only other place I think the only other place I can think I've used it is down by Hubris's spot down there. But yeah, I think this is a nice place, and it is a little strange that the brewing stands are floating, but I think this is a much better at-a-glance visual kind of style to show you exactly which stands are in operation currently. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this. I don't know if the next episode is the one that we have our monthly event on, but it will be the final monthly event before we actually change maps, so there is that. Oh no, I do actually have I think I have at least one more to do. Let me just grab that. There we go. We do have at least one more place to do, which is the enchanting stop over there. That's gonna be fun. I get to do a little bit of combinatorial logic for that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. And the next episode will be up on time. Hopefully I won't be making it like the night before, which I'm kind of doing here. Man, this sorting machine turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. Aww. I have noticed that I have snuck on at seemingly the one point in time wherein there is nobody to be sneaking up on me during a time lapse. Hee hee hee. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm tired. I had to slightly redesign that thing whilst I was building it because I realized I built it in a larger area than I actually was using. But anyways, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time.